Hey, it's Andrew Downs. I'm proud to support Three Beards Media, and I would love to work with you. If you need merchandise for your company, organization, band, softball team, whatever, I can help. From name brand apparel to promotional items, large orders or small, online stores, and more, I can help your brand stand out. AKC Marketing is local, based in Johnston, and we are an employee-owned business, so our costs are low and our turnaround times are fast. But most importantly, we give you personal service to make sure you get exactly what you're looking for. Email me at andrew@akcmarketing.com or find me on social media, and let's make some cool stuff together. Now sit back and enjoy this Three Beards Media podcast.
I'm Dave Larson here with my Storm Team partner and Cyclone Great for the next edition of In the Side of the Storm. And welcome to the legend himself, Marcus Pfizer. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Dave?
I'm doing great. We are again live from the AKC Marketing Studio with Andrew Downs and sponsored by our friends at Revelton Distilling Company out of Osceola, Iowa, and Dan Douglas with Green Beret Realty. Not sure where to start. It seems like we've got a lot to talk about, but it feels like we really should focus in on that Houston game that's coming up.
Oh,
You know, this is one that as Cyclone fans, we were looking at the basketball schedule thinking this day was going to be the one that was probably going to decide the Big 12 regular season championship. It looks like it may not quite be that way, although for Houston, this has a lot of meaning to it because they're sitting up at the top of that conference by themselves with just one loss. And they have Arizona nipping at their heels with 2 losses. And of course, Iowa State has 4. So thoughts on the big matchup coming up on Saturday against Houston at Houston?
well, I mean, I think for us it's very important. Not only, it's not about the win-loss to me, you know, of course, in this conference, with us having some players that was out, players in different positions and things like that. Weathering the storm, we have fallen to 4 losses in the conference, but that's not going to really tell you anything about how strong the conference is in the end. I mean, we've gone into some conference tournaments not being the top team, and lo and behold, it always turns into Hilton South. So we know this game is definitely a measure of what we're going to be able to do going forward, win, lose, or draw. We definitely would love to win. We know that Houston team is going to be a tough team to match up against, but I think, you know, if we put the product that we know we have out on the floor, it's going to be a dogfight. You know, you just have to tip your hat to them if they, you know, come out as the victors. But at the end of the day, we know, been back full blast, whole team ready to go. This is one that I'm really looking forward to. What time is that game?
You know, I'm going to have to be honest. I'm going to have to check. I think it's at 1:00 on Saturday, though.
Whole time? Yours?
Central time, yes. And if memory serves me, ESPN Game Day, College Game Day is going to be there, much like they were at Ames a few weeks ago. They're planning to be at that game in Houston.
Okay, so that's what I say, 11:00 here, because we're going to Marcus Jr.'s last home game. I hope he's not lying because he don't supposed to know where we're going. But the chances are he's not. You know how these kids are. But his game is at 3, so we will already be there. So hopefully the game. Well,
Well,
no. I don't have an hour ahead.
Yeah. You'll be good.
Yeah, I'll still be good. So get some good Cyclones in, good Cyclone win in that day, and then go over to his game and see another dub and have a good weekend.
Now, I know that you watch a lot of basketball, both the NBA and college. Have you caught much of Houston this year? You know, I think a name that Cyclone fans are familiar with, Jamal Shed, is now gone, graduated, I believe, from the program. You know, he was a dog. You know, he was a guy that was, if not the Big 12 Player of the Year, pretty darn close to it. He just had this tenacity about him, could find multiple ways to score, was a lockdown defender. He's now gone, but you would have thought that Houston would have taken a step back, but that really doesn't seem to be the case this year.
Yeah, I follow him a lot because Emmanuel Sharp, he's the son of one of my pro teammates, Derek Sharp. So I've been knowing Emmanuel since he was a little bitty boy, way before he was really shooting basketballs like that. But his dad, you know, was
I'm sure he appreciates you calling him a little bitty boy.
He was a little bitty boy. I mean, you got to understand, like my 26-year-old son, I still call him a little boy from when he was small then. But yeah, I follow him a lot, even though, you know, they're in our conference now, have turned into one of those Kansas or Texas type teams in our conference where you got to see them every single year. But that's the Kevin Sampson, you know, team. You know, he's always had tough teams, no matter where he coached. It's just one of those ones you just gotta, you know, go through the dogfight and deal with them. So it's definitely something we can do. Look forward to the game for sure. But yeah, I follow him a lot. You know, mainly because of him. He had an older son that played. It was DJ Sharp. I forget. I think he played at UCF or South Florida. I forget. But you know, we're at the age now where our kids are playing college basketball and even watching, you know, Martin's sons for Colorado. You know, that's good. That gives us a, you know, bittersweet moment to understand we got grown kids now, but at the same time, wanting to root them on.
You know, the cameras caught Martin's son close up when we played against Colorado, and I looked at, he looked just like his dad. Unbelievable.
Just like with the droopy eyes and everything. I was like, Jesus, it's Martin, straight up and down. He's the same height, same body build, everything. Yeah, it was exciting to see, but just to see and understand, like, wow, these kids are, you know, 18, 19, 20 years old is crazy.
So coming back to Saturday, what are your keys for this game against Houston? You know, I think it's been interesting. We have talked on this show, I can't tell you how many times, about turnovers and their unforced turnovers. And this has been going on for weeks now. But locally, the media has caught on to that. That seems to be something that they've really been harping on since Saturday's game. I would argue that's been there all season long, but now the media is just now catching up to it. Something we've been talking about. But obviously, turnovers is going to be a key for any game. What do you think are the Marcus Pfizer's keys for Saturday?
Well, it's going to have to be, you know, a brawl, a ugly brawl, defensive type game. And, you know, I've been in games where I've won and lost that was, you know, right at 50 or below 50 points. It doesn't matter as long as you come out with that win. Those Texas teams are always tough. That road win that we got against Texas Tech down there, grinding it out at the end, it's going to have to be those type of games. We can't get into
that game is, sorry to interrupt, Marcus, but boy, that game has shown to be a huge in conference standings. Texas Tech is a really good team.
Yes, Texas Tech, and even the things that K-State has been doing as of late, like you just never know what you're going to get, especially on the road in the Big 12. So we can match them firepower, but we can't get into like a firepower type game because you're being on the road and the home crowd behind their team, you know, the whistle gets a little tighter for the road team, so it's going to be a harder thing to come back from. I mean, we sat, the whole time texting and things like that during the Texas Tech game and was totally surprised we were able to pull that out. Houston is a little bit tougher, so if we go down there with the same mentality and not guarding, then it's going to be a long night.
Well, and I think one of the things that we should be able to be looking forward to is the fact that we've only lost that one game at or against Auburn and Maui with Milan Momcilovic in the lineup.
Yeah.
Without him, we were 3-4, and it seems like as soon as he was reinserted back into that lineup, we've gone to that next level again.
Yeah, the more and more I see him and watch him, like, it's hard to say for shooters. Like I've always told people, like, I shoot a lot better than what people think. I can make a shot. A shooter, a pure shooter, that's a skill and a talent that you pretty much are born with. And I've played with, some knockdown shooters. Thomas Watkins was a teammate of mine on our 99-2000 team. He was just a net snapping shooter. When I watch Milan, it's that same type of shot. It's like, it doesn't matter, what goes on. As soon as he catches it, it's always in the right spot. At the same time, he will miss some shots. We will see Steph Curry be 2 for 13 from the three. But, a shooter, they're just off that night. The next night is going to be a different thing. And when you have that threat on the basketball court, it opens it up for so many other people. And then don't let them get hot. It's going to be hard to stop a player like that that's, 6'8" and above. So it's always a good thing to have that type of a weapon. I wish he wouldn't have had to miss any games with the injury and stuff like that, but it's very encouraging to have him right now down the stretch.
Well, and one of the things that has really changed too since Momcilovic came back is Nate Heise. Nate Heise has really stepped up, and last game against Colorado, he had 11 points, knocking down threes again with confidence. He's always been that top-notch defender. So now you've got that two-tool player that's able to come in off the bench that we've needed that off the bench. We've had Curtis Jones, who moved from the bench to the starting lineup. Boom, we had nothing off the bench. And now Curtis has gone back. We still get his points, and he's not scoring quite as much, but I don't know that he's needed to.
Yeah, that's always encouraging to see. The farther the season goes, the more comfortable guys get and you understand your role. Then you could, kick it up a little bit, see what works. If it works, it's definitely going to be a positive for the team, and that's going to be identified with this coaching staff that we have. But it's definitely refreshing to see those guys knock it down from the outside. The last game, Heise caught a couple of them on the wing where as soon as he caught it, and the defenders was right there, and he was straight up, straight down, and it was snapping the net. So as long as we can keep that going in that direction with our defense always being what it be for this program, I'm very encouraging about everything going forward. Like I said, the record is not anything that you have to look on or try to focus on. Like I said before, it was very exciting to see number 2, number 3 in the nation on beside our name. But we lost a couple of close ones, lost a couple of bad ones, and now we're at full strength. Let that fool somebody about how good this ball club is. So I'd rather slide in under the radar than do the things that we got to do to win the ball games and just go from there.
Well, like you said, Kelvin Sampson has won wherever he's been. I don't think he's going to let his team down. I think he knows what he's getting with the Cyclones coming into town.
Yeah, he definitely has that, that old school, that Tim Floyd, Eustace coaching mentality where, it's hard-nosed. Like, once you understand that type of system, then, you pretty much go out there and don't want to disappoint the head coach and the coaching staff. Like, you play with that bravado of being that hard-nosed team. And, man, what were they, Conference USA before? A lot of people was thinking they would come over and, us the big – and, man, they had missed a beat. And he's not, going out and getting, top 5 players or anything like that. They come with that blue-collar mentality, and then once they step on the floor, it's that, man, we got to deal with these Houston boys.
A lot like TJ's teams, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Dealing with that kind of toughness when you have that background of being a tough program that's going to get down and play defense. That was one of the funnest things to me as a player, being in those types of systems. Everything that we did was getting stops, getting stops, getting stops. Anything on the offensive end, we had to get a stop on the defensive end first. So that turns the intensity up. Man, we got to steal, they got to stop, and they blew the whistle to stop us going on offense. Whoo-wee, you talk about having me almost kick the ball in the stands because we ready to go. And I'm sure, they're set up and wired the same way. And, a lot of people I always ask, you guys get out and run. And, y'all just don't understand how tough it is in practice to get these offensive possessions. And once we get them, we run it.
One of the I know you love your bigs. Can we talk a little bit about Josh Jefferson? There was a point in the second half of that game earlier this week where he got a steal at midcourt, came down, made a good pass, and I don't remember exactly. It might have been to Heisey for a corner three. Three was missed, and there's Mr. Jefferson with the rebound and the putback. I mean, the guy just does it all.
Yeah, he's always been a really, really talented big coming through here in Vegas. Like I said, I coached against him since he was 7th, 8th grade. Always hated seeing him on the court because of the myriad of things that he could do as a player. Never been loud, not super athletic, has a big body. His dad played professional football, and I think a couple of his brothers as well. He's just one of the football guys like me that turned to basketball. So he's just always been a kid that had a high IQ, didn't chase the, Bishop Gormans and stuff like that, just stayed in public school, ended up winning the state championship, the first year that dethroned Bishop Gorman, 10, 11 year run. So I could see it coming. He initially went to St. Mary's, which was one of those things like, damn, man, we can't never keep no kids here and stay at UNLV and stuff like that. But Keyshawn went to UNLV, and after TJ went over back to Iowa State, he plucked both of the Vegas boys and got them there. So to have that type of a player that has that mentality, that IQ that's for the team, nobody is on the team is looking for numbers and things like that. Numbers happen and come when they come. The farther we get into the season, the tougher it's going to get. And it's nice to see that, you don't have one person that's trying to jack it up and just get numbers. It's a beautiful thing to see. And to have I don't typically like to say point forward type things or whatever, because that kind of diminishes the role of your position. My position is what my position is. If I'm skilled at the position, I'm just skilled at that position. So it's great to see, my power forward, young big, doing the good things that he's doing and, winning ball games from it.
You made reference about the diverse scoring that's going on. This last game, there were, I think, 5 players in double digits. From a opposing team perspective, what's that like going up against a team where you just don't know who's going to get hot for the other team? And how do you defend a team like the Cyclones when it could be any one guy at any one time lighting it up, or you could have that consistency where 5, 6, 7 guys are scoring, and you may not be having someone score 20 points, but everyone's scoring 10 to 15.
Yeah, you really don't know what you're going to get when you get this ball club. I mean, it's been a few games where, we've been on the road and you looked up and like Taman has 21, 22 points. Like he's knocked down so many threes, and it's like, I know the scouting report is not guard him from the 3-point line. He's going to get his steals. He's going to run the ball club. But then you flip it and have him knocking down shots. Those are the instances where you turn and look at the coach like, well, what am I supposed to do? That wasn't on the report. So it's refreshing to see. Not having one particular person that's going to score a ton of points, even though we can. I think it was a couple of games, here recently, I think Keyshawn had like 4 points or 7 points in the game, and we got the dub. So as long as that happens, it really doesn't matter. And he's, you know, top 20 on the Wooden Award list. It just comes with the territory, and they just keep playing.
Well, and if memory serves me, he's real close now to being the all-time steals leader for the Cyclones as well. If memory serves me, like he's within about 5 or 6, 7 steals. If memory serves me, I mean that's pretty phenomenal as a junior.
Yeah, that's you know, he has that football background. He's a lot faster than what people think and assume. So you can be deceptively quick with that, anticipating passes. A lot of you know guards that get good steals and stuff like that. They're able to anticipate a lot more when you know you have a good defensive team. You know, if you try to make those steals and things like that, I think last game he went at one and the ball went all the way back court, and he was the last one coming back. Well, the 4 that was on 5 had to, you know, I see Josh pointing, they rotating and things like that, and then he came up the court here last, but they didn't score or get a shot off because of how the 4 held them down until he got back into play. So it's always good to see that, you know and understand what your teammates are able to do. You know, I love having shot blockers behind me, you know, because I will go for steals and things like that. And, you know, when I remember playing with Tyson Chandler, I used to do some of the craziest stuff and just yell, "Beat that up, Tyson," because I know he back behind me. And if he don't block that shot, then I'm gonna get in trouble for it. But he always blocked the shot or alter the shot, and that's a good feeling to see. We got Deshaun down there that's doing that. So if you don't block the shot and alter the shot and hits the rim and come off, and we come back and get the defensive rebound, then we've done good.
So I just did a quick look. Now this is Wikipedia, which is all I really had time to look up. He is within 15 of Jeff Hornacek, who's the all-time leader. So 196, and Horny has 217. So he's getting close. Again, this is Wikipedia, so you don't know how up to date that is. It relies on everybody else to do that.
Right. Yeah, I thought I heard them saying he was less than that too. Maybe I should add GPT.
Yeah,
they got it better.
Really. Again, big important game against Houston on Saturday. 1:00 tip down in Houston. Probably need that win to be a top 2 seed in the NCAA tournament, and I think a win would all but guarantee a double bye in the Big 12 tournament coming up as well. So it's important for both teams. Can't say it's equally important because I think Houston has a lot to play for if they want to maintain that 1 seed in the NCAA tournament and a 1 seed in the Big 12 tournament as well. So big game Saturday, and then we come back, play Oklahoma State next Tuesday, which will be another big game. And then we got a follow-up against Arizona a week from Saturday on March 1st, revenge game against Wildcats.
Yeah, I don't want to diminish them anything like that. Like I'm confident that we could beat them. I'm confident we had them beat. Us losing to Colorado that 99-2000 season from a half-court heave, almost pretty much like that, to Jacquet Walls, and losing in overtime. Those are one of those things like you understand. Okay, we did some mistakes or whatever, and we wasn't able to come out victorious with this one. But at the end of the day, we understand what was what. And you coming through the Hilton Coliseum, that match is going to be totally different. So I don't want to get like John Morant and say we're good in the West, but I think we should be good at home against an Arizona team that we pretty much had on the ropes on the road.
So I misspoke earlier. I think I made reference to Arizona having 2 losses. They actually have 3 losses, and you're right. You look at the standings, and basically that one game, that last 3/4 shot there, really reversed roles. Arizona's the team that's 12-3, and Iowa State's 11-4, where you flip that game around, and we've got opposite records there. So
yeah, and that loss that we wet the bed on the road against West Virginia was a huge one as well. But I mean, at any rate, you know, you want to be undefeated, but how realistic is that?
Right.
I'm not concerned with that. I'm concerned with how good of a basis of a ball club we are, and you know that's what we're showing there of late.
You're right. You know, I'd love to win the Big 12 regular season. I'd love to win the Big 12 tournament. But at the end of the day, how we're going to be remembered is in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, it was a tough time doing that losing streak for sure, but you know we're out of that L streak now and on the W streak, and you know hopefully Saturday we can do the same.
Although, in fairness, your teams are remembered for the two Big 12, Big 8 tournaments. Is that right? Or Big 12 at the time?
I've only played in Big 12.
All right. So you have two Big 12 tournament championships, and of course we all remember what happened up at in Auburn Hills against Michigan State. But
yeah,
so in fairness, we're going to remember this team in the NCAA, but primarily, right?
Well, we always have fun in the conference tournament for sure. That's a fun time. I would say, you know, for sure. You know, that's in that bowl down there, and we turn into Hilton Soft. And whenever we win that tournament, you know, that's a big momentum builder for us for sure. A lot of times we won it that people didn't expect it, including, you know, being 12. What were we? 12-2 in the conference and going down into the Big 12 tournament, and they still didn't have us favorite.
Yeah, gives you a reason to play with a chip on your shoulder and
that pissed me off.
Play pissed off.
Oh, that pissed me off. There's been a few moments, but at that age, it hadn't been, you know, nearly as many. But at that age, there was, I can recall maybe once or twice ever being that mad. I don't like to play mad. I play focused. I was pissed off that game. Really pissed off.
So before we go to break, I want to talk a little women's basketball, and then after on the other side, we can talk a little bit about just a hodgepodge of items from. We had some Seneca Wallace news come up here in the last couple of days. We have some news on Chi-Town. I want to get your take on the NBA All-Star Weekend. The women, though, thank you for allowing us to be able to shift last night's show over to tonight. Was able to get up there to watch that game, and it was against a Houston team that was not very good. And so we saw some very, very interesting lineups that were taking shape for the Cyclones. Ariana Jackson was out. I think Coach Fennelly had made reference, it might have been a week or two ago, that she was battling a foot issue. It sounds like she did not play or practice that much last week, played on Saturday, and then came back and then did not play at all on Tuesday and was wearing a walking boot. Sounded like it was more precautionary than anything. I understand she may have a stress fracture that she's dealing with, so she'll probably have to deal with that for the remainder of the season. But the women are really starting to take shape and look good. We're seeing some balanced scoring. Of course, Audie's getting her points, but I want to throw some love out to Addie Brown. So against Kansas last week or on Saturday, we won 93-80, but Addie Brown was a single rebound short of a triple double. So I think she wanted to go back in, and Coach Fennelly said, no, that's okay. Because there's no guarantee that you're going to get that last rebound, right? And you kind of need Addie Brown to finish the season out. You don't want her tweaking anything, especially when you've got Ariana Jackson that's a little bit hobbled. So Addie Brown, boy, she impresses me. Last night, she started a little bit slow, but she got a double-double last night. And I looked up and I thought, there's about 4 minutes left. Is there a chance that she can get 3 or 4 more assists to be able to get the triple-double tonight? She did not, but the women still won nonetheless by 11 over Houston. And don't let that 11-point differential be a an area of concern. They really, Houston was not very good. They only dressed 6 players. Sounds like they have the flu that's running through their team. Cyclones were in control the entire night, though.
Yeah, that sucks to, be so close and miss it, by a few points or rebounds or assists. You always hope that the coach is going to say, yeah, go ahead, go back in and get it. But, most of the time they don't.
Were you in the league when Ricky Davis, former Iowa Hawkeye player, was, I think, playing for Cleveland, and he was short of a double-double or triple-double or something, and intentionally shot the ball to miss it in order to get his own rebound? Were you in the league at that time?
I think I was. That was when he was in Cleveland, and so he got. Did he get the rebound or somebody passed it to him? And he shot it.
I want to say he shot it the wrong basket even.
Yeah, it was the defense. It was the defense. It was a defensive rebound, and so he just shot it up there and hit the rim.
Yeah,
which by the numbers, that is a possession or whatever, hitting it, because if it would have gone in, they would have gave it to the the opposing team. Right. But I guess by way, initially they gave him a triple double, and then the league took it back.
Did they? Is that something as players you guys are cognizant of when you're in the middle of the game, that so and so is close to a triple double? Is that something you guys are talking about?
You can see pretty much every arena on the jumbotron all around the arena. You see the stats and things like that. Nobody has ever thought to try to do anything like that, or if they thought it, they knew, that was David Stern at the time. You knew you was going to get a call from David saying, that shit ain't flying. And that's what happened. We laughed for a while after that, and we gave Rick D hell about it every time we saw him. But he definitely tried to pull it off, though. I just would have went to the offensive end and just went hard to the basket. With his leaping ability, even if he went to dunk it and just hit the rim and just grab the rebound back himself, they probably would have let it stay over than the fact of shooting at the opposing team's basket.
Yeah, and it's too bad that Addy was just one rebound short. But I think I would be tempted to do something similar.
Yeah. Like I said, you can see it on the Jumbotron each and every time. You look up or you sitting on the bench and things like that. But I don't think nobody ever tried to execute that before Rick D did.
So the women, big game coming up on Saturday against the Baylor Bears. At Baylor. Baylor is, I think, the 1 or 2 team in the Big 12 conference currently, sitting in conference record at 13-1.
Oh wow!
Iowa State, though, they've got, they're really turning the corner. They're playing some of their best basketball this season. They're playing against teams that are comparable in the conference, but they're separating themselves from those teams as well. So you're starting to see that upper tier in the Big 12, and the Iowa State women certainly are in the top tier. So
where's that game at? You said it's on the road or home?
That's a road game on Saturday. Let me guess, you're going to ask me next what time that game is, because I know you pretty well. That's a 1:30 game. So I don't know what the Big 12 is doing to Iowa State, making us have 2 games going on at the same time, with the men at 1 and the women at 1:30, but that is the schedule nonetheless.
Well, hey, 2 tough road games for our men and women. Just hopefully we can pull them both out.
All right, we are going to pivot here. I'm going to get back on the other side and talk about some of those other topics that we had made reference to. And let's hear a word from our great sponsors.
Making great tasting bourbon requires the perfect combination of ingredients, conditions, and time. The longer it rests, the better it tastes. Revelton Distillery's new single barrel bourbon is made from 80% corn, sourced 100% from Iowa farmers. And unlike mass-produced bourbons, each barrel of Revelton's single barrel bourbon is unique, proofed on when it tastes best. As they like to say, it'll be ready when it's ready. And to ensure the highest standards of quality and flavor, owners Rob and Christy Taylor oversee the production and bottling. Every single barrel. Iowa-born, Iowa-aged, Iowa-bottled. Try the new single barrel bourbon from Iowa's own Revelton Distillery. ReveltonDistillery.com. When energy meets precision, anything is possible.
I'm Carter Hawley, the Chief Energy Officer of the Iowa State Cyclones. I'm full of energy on and off the court, but nothing gives me more energy than helping families find their dream home. And that's where Green Beret Realty comes in. They're more than just realtors. They're a team dedicated to getting things right for you and your family, just like we get it right on the court. Sometimes it takes a team to get the call right. And when you're buying a home, you want a team that makes all the right calls. That is Green Beret Realty. And here's the best part. When you buy or sell a home through Dan at Green Beret Realty and mention this ad, he'll make a donation to the We Will Collective, helping student athletes like me thrive on and off the court.
Green Beret Realty, because getting the call right means everything.
All right, we're back to In the Side of the Storm. You know, Conrad Hawley, the star there of Green Beret Realty's commercial. He's when I was at the women's game last night, I saw him on the big screen promoting. They're doing a can or a cyclone can night to be able to come in and donate goods for the food bank. So for those of you who are going up, I think it's the Saturday, March 2nd game, March 1st game for the women, and then the Sunday game for the men. So if you have a chance to, maybe it's Sunday, Monday. So if you have a chance to bring some canned goods up for those games, please do that. Marcus, I'm a Coke guy. And so here I am, I've got my Revelton Mulberry Gin. And for some reason, I pulled out of my fridge a Canta Orange. And I thought, okay, this might be disgusting, but it's actually pretty good.
Turned into like some Robitussin or something.
Which probably isn't a bad thing. I don't know what happened. I'm fighting something again. Probably this cold weather. We are tomorrow is going to be a better day. I think it's going to be a high of about 14. But we've been living in this 0 degree for high weather for the last 3 days, and we cannot wait. I think Sunday it's going to be right around 40, 45, and then we hit 50s next week. So we're all seeing the light.
This morning.
The light at the end of the tunnel. So we teased a little bit before. Seneca Wallace, our guy Seneca, was named as the UFL St. Louis Battlehawks quarterback coach, and working under none other than Coach Anthony Beck. So
nice.
Good news for Seneca Wallace. Seneca was always one of those players that got so much talent, and you could see the cerebral, the mind going and how he thought. I mean, he really played like a coach out on the field, just knew where everyone was supposed to be, and glad to be able to see him get a shot there to coach in the UFL.
Yeah, it was a lot of excitement that came along with him. You know, kind of a different of a flair that we've had at the quarterback position at Iowa State, but definitely gave us a lot of years of excitement. You know, very was exciting to watch.
So this weekend was NBA, or last weekend was NBA All-Star Weekend. And honest to goodness, so Saturday I was working on a big project. I work in human resources, and so I needed to put some merit files together so we could get those processed in time for people to get paid and get their annual increases in. And so I was working on that on Saturday, and I kid you not, I got a text alert about the All-Star game, and I thought, or the dunk contest, and I thought, seriously, this is NBA All-Star Weekend? This is the first I've heard of it. So the NBA All-Star, is that concept, is it gone now? Is it over?
It's a myriad of things that come together that I don't think fans really understand. First of all, is it's not fun for the players. You've gone through half of the long season, and then in the middle of the season, you come with an All-Star game where everybody doesn't play in the All-Star game, but a lot of players still go. A lot of players' family want to go. A lot of guys' friends are in it or whatever the case may be. But it's just a weekend full of chaos, nonstop, people everywhere. When I'm talking about people everywhere, it can offend whoever it wants to offend, but I'm talking about the January 6th riot type people everywhere. And you into the hotel and you bumping into people all in the elevators. It's just a whole lot to deal with. And the time constraints from a lot of things, players being here, players being there, with the advertising dollars and everything that's in there, they're trying to cram so much more into the game. And the players, they always talk about, how the old school games were a lot more exciting. Well, a lot of those players, showed up one or two media things and then they played a competitive game. A lot of players now get to the game and be dead tired. They got all kind of player association parties, or Kenny Smith is doing a party, or this person is doing a party, and it's not a thing to go there and show face and leave. A lot of different of the media stuff is going on there too. So it's a lot of busy work, and players are just tired. A lot of stuff have become gimmicky, skill challenges and all that, all the stuff combined, because again, the ad dollars and things like that. They want to bring more people in, more revenue, and all of that. And I get it. The salaries are so much higher, but it's never going to be the same that it was. I think the most exciting thing about it here recently is when they had the whole Elam ending, but they kind of adopted from the TBT tournament. That was the most exciting thing, because at least when we got to the fourth quarter, the guys get super competitive. This year, I was literally sitting here at my desk watching the TV or whatever, and I literally got the remote, turned it off, and went upstairs, and it just so like I was laying on my bed, I was on the phone. I was like, "Damn, who won?" Because I didn't even go back to it. I had to see on SportsCenter and all of that, because it has changed to so much different. It has changed to such a different thing that it's not even exciting anymore. So I think if you take out some of the things, get back to making the game competitive, let them wear their own jerseys like they used to do back in the day. That was very exciting for the fans and everything like that, because it wasn't an all-star. Now they're trying to sell all-star jerseys. No, let Kevin Garnett, Kobe Bryant, and all those guys, Shaq, wear their own jerseys. That was the exciting things to see on the court. But when you put so much money into it and everything like that, things get a little weird and tricky.
So how do you fix it? Players said pay us more, but it can't be that simple.
To pull back. You have to pull back from a lot of the stuff that's going on. They criticize LeBron for not getting in the dunk contest, but it's the reason why he's not in the dunk contest, because they're so tired. Even Zach LaVine is not going to the dunk contest anymore. Aaron Gordon, Zion. We can, as an ex-Pelican, I cross my fingers that he's healthy enough to play and things like that. But even him, he's not excited about it, because it's now we're getting McClung. He's in the NBA now, but I think he was like in the G League before. Mm-hmm. So now he's gotten better, and now he's on the NBA roster back and forth and all that. So now it's a little bit tricky. It was exciting to see the young fellow from San Antonio. He did some nice things or whatever to be able to compete in it. But, bringing out cars and all that, even with the dunks that McClung did this year, I think of Vince Carter 2000 dunk contest was way more exciting because it's just the flair of a leaper and the creativity and the effortlessness of a dunk and how, it wasn't you bring a ladder and somebody stand on it and it bounces off the side of the backboard. It was just, he brought Tracy McGrady out a couple of times and bounced the ball and did some things. But when we get back to that type of dunk contest, it's going to be a lot more exciting. But, now you got even Steph Curry, who didn't compete in San Francisco in the 3-point contest.
Right.
Like, why? We got a Sprite. No, it's not Sprite anymore. What is it?
Honestly, I didn't watch, so I can't.
What's the name
tell
of
you
the
who the
soda?
sponsor is.
The soda that's not a Sprite anymore. Oh no, it's not Sierra Mist anymore. I think it's
Starry.
Starry. They have a Starry 4-point. Like that wasn't, guys just went to 5 spots, shot 5 balls, and see who was the best shooter from there. So guys aren't even trying to be in that anymore. Tyler Hero won. It wasn't exciting to me, even though he made shots.
But how do you fix that? How do you get those star players?
You're going to have to dial it back. You're going to have to dial it back some, which means losing some ad dollars and things like that. But at the end of the day, the players are the talent. And, once it gets to the point of them being the talent and holding majority of the cards, if they want to say, I don't want to compete, then they're just not, like, there's really no incentive for these super wealthy athletes to play an all-star game. There was a time before where that was a prestige type thing. When if you're still going to recognize me as an all-star, if everybody that's the starters to the reserves decline and don't want to play, and then they got to bring replacement players who the replacement players may be more excited than the ones that are pretty much perennial all-stars. Like LeBron has been there 21 straight years. And, it got to a point where I guess he just said, if his foot's hurting, I would have rather him do it. But if his foot's hurting, that's his right to say, whenever the time came about, to say I didn't want to do it. So they're going to have to dial it back.
Let's face it, the NBA is not immune to this. The NFL, they have their all-star game at the end of the year, the Pro Bowl. Same issues in regards to lackluster effort. And when you're making a lot of money like that, especially on the football field, there's a lot more risk, probably less so on the basketball court, but still risk. I think the Major League Baseball, you see more effort out of, but you see guys that pull themselves out. And again, there's probably some fatigue on that. Here we're looking at hockey. Hockey this year seems to have gotten it right. All of a sudden they've got guys fighting within the first seconds of the game that they're so competitive, and they've made it into a little mini mid-season tournament. How is it truly, is it the money? Is it, you say pare it down, but boy, it seems like there's opportunities that, hey, we're not going to force you to do everything, player, but boy, can you do the dunk contest only? Or can you play in the game only? Can you do the 3-point contest only? Is that an opportunity to really pare it down so they choose what they want to participate in?
Well, if they did the All-Star game, see, I can understand the Pro Bowl being after, and it's football. Those guys' bodies definitely are beat up after, everything is over. So if they did the NBA All-Star game after the season, it probably will be a lot more exciting than what it is now. But this is one thing that the fans don't see and don't understand. For certain ball clubs, for certain teams, certain trainers, whatever the trainers, I can get on social media and argue with people all day long, and they're funny to me. I said, y'all so funny to me to know so much about the NBA and never been in the NBA. If the trainers say Embiid's ankle is a little sore today, I'm going to hold him out, and Embiid goes and plays, guess who gets in trouble? The trainer and Embiid. They can even fine Embiid for going and get on the floor after the doctor's recommendation has been to rest that day. For that ball club that's paying him $60 million a year, what do you think they prefer?
Sure.
They understand, okay, we want for the fans or whatever, but we need you when we need you. So when you come to the All-Star break and it's the Los Angeles Lakers is playing LeBron $55 million a year from his contract and he's making $200 million a year off the court, we might not want you in the dunk contest, even though you still can soar and get over the rim. We know the fans is going to give you the backlash and all that different stuff, but hey, let us roll out the scroll of contracts and everything and let you understand what's more important. So once you put that bug in players' ear, Zion and Zach LaVine and those type guys, you've had a couple of calf injuries or whatever. Let's rest that a little bit, or quad injuries. Let's rest that a little bit. You'll have time in your future if you decide. When in reality, they just concerned about right now. So behind the scenes of everything, they're concerned more about what's going on with their dollars and what they're giving to the players. Because back when MJ, I think I saw on First Take this morning, they said before he made the 33, 36, 37 million in the last contract, his highest contract was $4 million a year. That was my rookie year, first year. $4 million a year. So when you think about where they're at now per year, I remember a 4-year, $30 million deal was, a great deal for a player. Now you got guys making $40 million a year. And so when you think about the totality of it all, the owners really care more about the product being put on the floor. People think, the fans want to see, the fans pay you. That's a small pie of how much is in the pie of paying players. And that's the only thing the owners really care about.
Could you imagine how much MJ would be making in today's NBA with his sheer marketability?
It'd be $100 a year.
Oh yeah.
It will be like a baseball contract, literally. Or even more. He literally will be able to command a prime MJ in today's type game, averaging 40 a game. He literally will command $100 million plus a year. He would have been a billionaire so much faster.
Well, and remember, Michael too was a guy that he didn't have a rest day. He played consistently 82 games a season and all of those playoff games. He didn't sit.
Because I'll tell you his piece about to die. Because back then, they had to play a lot more, play a lot harder. Can you hear me?
Yeah. You're good.
To garner or win the contract of a $3 million, $4 million, $5 million a year. Kukoc was the highest paid player on that Bulls championship team at like $7.5 million a year. Yes, it pissed MJ off, and it should have. But now, when you got this ink dry, and I'm getting 35.5 per year, play or not, guess what I'm gonna do? Oh, do I want to take an elbow from Dylan Brooks today? No, we're gonna load management it today. And at any rate, the owners are not really that upset if it's early during the season. It's not a playoff push. You get towards the playoff push, then guys, the basketball get better, more guys play. That's the part that they worry about. You got so many teams. The Lakers can win 2 games and be tied for second, or they can lose 3 games and be in the 7th position. Like, there's so many teams vying that they're worrying about that last playoff push to figure out who gets in the play-in and where they're set. And then the rest is no whole bar about what can happen next. And that's the difference. That's the difference.
I recognize you may be biased, but of the major sports, football, basketball, baseball, and we can throw hockey in there. Is there one format from an all-star perspective that you enjoy the most? Is it the NBA or one of the other sports from a fan perspective, one that you prefer watching more than the others?
It probably was the old NBA. Like, I think one of the last NBA All-Stars I went to was MJ's last All-Star. No, Yes, yes.
Washington? Was he with Washington at the
He was,
time?
he was with Washington, of course. It was. I mean, he played well. He was, mostly fans and all that different stuff. But that was a really, really competitive game. Really, that shot that he made over Sean Marion, to pretty much to put them up. That's that was the last time that it was really, really competitive, top to bottom. And like I said, the Elam injuries, Elam ending a couple of years ago, really made it a little competitive. Now that the last two going on 2 or 3 years, I can't even tell you if I've sat and watched the whole All Star. Even my wife can say, it used to be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the whole festivities and everything, and even we've been there. You wanted to participate in everything. Now it's like you said, the All Star game today.
Yeah.
I bought a new TV that I even hadn't went to pick up yet. I'm gonna hang on the wall. If that was a Super Bowl or football game, something like that, TV would have been on the wall. NFL is over. College football is over. I got the smaller TV that's sitting in that I broke the top of it when we was moving. I grabbed it, and so it bled and broke the LCD screen. It really pissed me off. So I had to buy a new one, but I hadn't even picked it up yet because I'm like, well, I see enough. I'm watching the hockey right now. I can see enough of it right now. I'll go pick it up when I pick it up. But if it was NFL or football, man, that TV be hung and everything by now.
Well, and you're right. I have fond memories of the 3-point shooting contest. Larry Bird raising the finger up, announcing he was the winner without even looking at the shots going in. I remember the dunk contest with MJ and Dominique. I mean, those two battled it out later in the years. Vince Carter obviously was so impressive, and just the games itself, they were okay. Defense maybe wasn't there, but they were just fun to watch, and everyone, I think the players, it felt like they were having a good time, and maybe that's still the case, but the competitiveness, it's not really worth watching any longer.
Yeah, I remember seeing, a couple older All-Star games where guys was actually sweating, on the free throw line. Guys, and then that's the thing, guys on the free throw line. How many times do you see free throws being shot in the All-Star game now?
Probably don't.
Yeah.
Probably don't. But like you said, what are you doing driving the lane? And you don't want to hack somebody because you have respect for that guy that's driving that lane who's making $40 million. You're making $40 million. You don't want to hurt them.
Right. And then that's the thing. Hey, look, I've had guys tell me in games like, hey, on the free throw line, you going in? That type thing. Guys don't want to get banged up, in certain situations, and especially I played in one of those the Rising Stars Challenge or whatever. I remember being so incredibly tired like that weekend. I don't even think I took a lot of shots. I think I had like 20-something rebounds because everybody was shooting. I just stood up under the basket and rebounded the ball. But I can just imagine like the actual All-Stars and the stuff that they put. I mean, can you imagine the media availabilities, the stuff that they request for LeBron and stuff and all? Those guys don't stop, and then there's supposed to be a break for them. So, there were some memes and some jokes on social media. Paul George was like on the beach, relaxing during All-Star break. And I'm like, dude, this is All-Star break. Like, he's been a perennial All-Star. This year he wasn't. Let the man take a break, but people don't understand that.
I'm gonna have to look that up to see if Marcus Fizer has the all-time rebound record for one of those All-Star games.
I don't even know if they keep those records or anything like that. But man, like I'll tell you, I remember just being so incredibly tired. So incredibly tired. Well, I was like, I think that was last year me and my wife went. No, I think I went to Atlanta too. It was just down there with family the year after that. But after that, I take my family on the trip somewhere or just relax at home.
Is that what most players do then?
That's what a lot of players do.
Okay. And I see a lot showing up for the All-Star weekend. You're right. I mean, they're there to have a good time. They're fans too. Mm-hmm. But I can see where you take that week and just shut it down and relax.
Yeah. Just absolutely do that. My rookie year, I didn't go. I remember we went to Jamaica.
All right,
And I
Marcus,
just remember
that I think is a good way to end the show. And we're probably cutting out a little bit, so we'll go ahead and close down for the night. Thanks everyone for joining us again. Thank you to our sponsors, Revelton Distilling Company, who's been so good for us, and then Dan Douglas as well, because without them, we probably wouldn't have the quality show that we're able to, and the graphics and that type of thing. But thanks to Revelton and to Greenberry Realty as well, and of course to AKC Marketing Studio with Andrew Downs, who is our studio host. And we'll see everyone again next week for another episode of In the Side of the Storm. And go Cyclones!